All right. Today we are what? Why Colleges Failing Gen Z by Cole Hastings. But before we start this, I feel like I'm watch this already. Like, what we gonna see if we really watch already? Because me always like, when think we all react to a video, them talk about college this and college that. I don't know, a long time ago. Not that long, but I feel like we do it already. But we're gonna see if him have nothing new for say or other reason why Jano college thing now looks so good. We're gonna hear him say, make we get into the video. Let's go.
What do you get when you mix rising tuition, outdated curriculums, and AI-generated essays? You get New York
Poverty?
Magazine publishing
Oh
articles
no, not
titled
poverty, okay.
Everyone is cheating their way through college, professors saying their students can no longer write, and for the first time in
Not
recorded
telling a lie. Right now, I don't feel like I can write all that. Do look writing, but I don't feel like me have the writing that like I'm used to write when me in a primary school. I think the last time we do like full writing, no chat, no chat GPT, no nothing. Sixth form, before me did know about chat GPT. Me that do my first set of A them now like lower six. Yeah, after that, find chat GPT. Me think me remember the last thing me did do me did do one of me I them on technology in football. That's the last time, like, do research, one bag of tabs, me I read through article. From that, nothing could have win last. And I just say go. But we're gonna hear him say in that video. Hopefully or something, what we know year already.
history, college graduates facing a higher unemployment rate than the average worker. Welcome to
Rough.
the end of the college system as we know it. Quick shout out to
And again, before it. Me not like fear mongering, like, oh no, the world are gonna end, this and that and that. Me understand, like, if you can bring the facts and say, yo, this no look good, this no look like they're going to a place. But if you go, man, like, if everybody not gonna know the solutions, but if you're not gonna like suggest, why me even not attack it? It might not even start in that video yet, no. Dog.
this Substack by Niels Gilman for helping guide this video essay. In 1963, University of California President Clark Kerr delivered a series of lectures called the Godkin Lectures, where he described the role of the university post-World War II. At that stage, Kerr explained the role of the university as a multiversity, an institutional hodgepodge of research, job training, credentialing...
Hodgepodge. Oh, hodgepodge. I think I did one word that.
coming-of-age experience, and a hub for the technical elite. It was the great mediator of the finest minds this country produced, providing loads of different avenues one could focus on. A multiversity's job, he says, was to, quote, administer the present. Essentially, it means that the university is where most big advancements in tech, culture, and economy originated. That was its overarching goal, to move society forward. And in post-World War II, the technocratic function of the multiversity was capable of keeping the varying degrees of use from falling out of balance. But
But you see, I know that we have university are just for money right now. Cause the way me see all them a teach me I say, why they never, like, I don't know how education and the teaching work, but why they never start with from, the foundation, then we tell you like what will be laugh for that. I said like in a programming, in a like the languages them. Why them the teach you like me no say like Python easier for learn and thing. But even like so after them teach you Python, why them not teach you them not care about the C? We're gonna C. We come from C and then you branch off and this and that and that. And then again, the language not really matter if you know it matter based on where you want build and them thing there. But me I say like why them never teach you C before, or even if them are gonna teach you like right after Python. Like, I don't know the structure or anything. Somebody can explain that to me if I don't understand. But even just like the way them a teach you and thing, it just, me don't know nothing. I'm not a teacher, saying it again. But me not feel like it'll work. Like, for the most part, I feel like me have to go teach myself everything and look up things myself and just take time and practice. Because the school system, well, university, we're probably supposed to promote, we go look research stuff on him someday, higher learning and one bag of bullshit or whatever it's supposed to do. But still, you're supposed to a lecture with. What is a lecture? A lecture is not. Play the video.
In the late 1970s, the scales on which those varying degrees laid on began to collapse.
Okay.
This era was the earliest days of what is now known as the privatization of college finances. Imagine a single location that provides all the experiences I just mentioned for less than $1,000 a year. Seems almost too good to be true, right? Well, that was the reality in the 1960s when Kerr first presented his lectures. In the 1960s, states viewed higher education as a public investment. Tuition was exceptionally low.
So why stop though? Why is it not a public investment right now? What did him say? Yeah, education important. Very important. People need to learn and have sense. Why it need to be so expensive?
Because taxpayers covered a much
not
larger
learn
share.
Have sense. Not learn have sense. They learn have sense. That's not the right way.
Of operating costs. As a result, most public schools awarded little to no financial aid. Only private schools did. But then came the state funding cuts. States were unwilling or unable to raise taxes to increase university revenue, while at the same time facing infinitely increasing healthcare and public safety costs. As a result, policymakers left universities with no choice than to hike up admission fees. These cuts were especially bad during recessions because tax revenue fell sharply while demand for public services rose.
That's just so sad. It always go like this. The rich people them mess up something, and then the poor people them have to pay for it in the long run. Because what make them no poor people not make them policy here. The politicians them were supposed to be for the country, them just for themselves. I thought about country like my country, United States.
And they had to cut their budget somewhere, so more often than not, it was the public universities. At the same time state funding was being cut in the 80s and 90s, federal grant programs began to stagnate. And this is when universities had no other option than to participate in what was usually reserved for private institutions, financial aid. At first, this aid was actually focused on the right people. In 1995 to 1996,
you don't consider student loan that a financial aid? Because a loan, like, I don't think you have to pay. Like, aid just sound like more charity to me. Or, what you would call that, something that subsidies. That sound more like aid, but I don't know if something there is also aid. If a student loan is a financial aid. I'm not Google it either.
Schools spent about $1.5 billion on financial aid, with 55% going to need-based aid. A 2011 report from the U.S. Department of Education's National Center for Education Statistics found that 13% of first-time students received need-based aid that year, while only 8% of non-needy students received so-called merit aid. But it still wasn't enough to keep up with just how much state funding was being cut out. The problem was, public universities knew that if they hiked up admission costs too much, their enrollment would go down, unless they pulled out a tactic that was being used at private universities, and that tactic is called enrollment management. The idea is simple. Instead of offering need-based pay to only students who need it, start offering it to rich, privileged, high-achieving kids too. Providing more money in financial aid to otherwise fully paying students, high-achieving kids based pay is called enrollment management. The idea is simple. Instead of offering need-based pay to only students who need it, start offering it to rich, privileged, high-achieving kids too. Providing more money in financial aid to otherwise fully paying students.
So instead of help out the people them when needed, we're gonna help out the people them already have it as well. What?
Is more lucrative than spending money on needy students for several reasons. These students
tell me
end
why.
up paying more in overall tuition, they are more willing to pay full price for other expenses like books and room and board, and their parents are more likely to become lavish donors to the college in the future.
That's crazy. So their reasoning is these, me never zoom out, damn. Their reasoning is these children, it better you invest in the people who already have money because they're go willing to spend back money with them later on. Yeah, but how about you invest in the people who don't have money so them can get in a system where them can make money and send for them picnic go back at university? Huh? How about that? That doesn't sound like a better long-term investment. But no, you just want Give the people that already have the spending potential. Bombard. Oh my God. Anyways, people may have the spending potential. Yeah, give them money so them can feel more comfortable and say, oh, you know, me already have freedom, or me get this and that and that and that. So not wrong if me buy 2 textbooks, me have the cash, my parents have the money. But the people them will need it, they say, dog, you need money for go to school, why you pressure me? Like, me just have whole heap of millions of dollars over this and I me have whole heap of money, why me need for help you? What? It's crazy. But that's them reasoning, apparently.
Improves the public university's bottom line, and it means that they can keep the college in the future. All of this improves the public university's bottom line, and it means that they can keep their admission prices higher without enrollment rates dropping due to inaffordability. In fact, financial aid leveraging is most effective when universities keep the sticker prices high because it ensures the biggest merit scholarships to the highest achievers, who in most cases need it less than the average applicant because they're usually better off. Here's what this looks like in practice. Say the sticker price of annual tuition for a public university is $40,000.
Yeah.
The high achiever, that is the one with a 4.0 GPA or perhaps an exceptional athlete, receives a scholarship of $20,000, leaving them with only $20,000 more to pay.
Okay.
Conversely, an average applicant with an average GPA may only receive a scholarship of $8,000, meaning their pay is $32,000 per year. It's a huge win for the colleges.
So the system already rigged before what? See, I tell me say, all right, the average person we're gonna need the scholarship more, not ever gonna get as much scholarship as the person we're already well off from before, and more likely if you have a damn rich get rich and the poor get poorer.
Universities become less accessible to those with disadvantages due to the cost, and the high-achieving, often wealthy people are more attracted to go to public universities due to reduced costs. It makes the public universities much more competitive with everyone else, and in our privatized world, seeming better than your peers means everything. Speaking of increasing perceived value for colleges, let's talk about the huge budget dump into upgraded facilities. With so many public universities across the country, they need a way to justify the egregious costs, even to richer families. So what did they do? Build a bunch of ridiculously overpriced facilities that don't even really add much value to the multiversity experience. One example of unnecessarily expensive builds is Texas Tech's Lazy River. Built in 2009, this 645-foot tube careener includes a 25-person hot tub, a diving well with a slide, water volleyball, and even a basketball area, all for only $8.45 million. The managing director
of... say could get that out in some scholarships or something to make more people can come to your school? Why?
Recreational sports at Texas Tech even admitted that the Lazy River was, quote, a great recruiting tool for the university.
Then just pretty up them schools so them can say, yeah, look, we have our amusement park over here, so they can come over here. So.
Example is University of Texas's Callaway House. The Callaway House is a privately owned and operated residence hall with private bedrooms, walk-in closets, full furnished living rooms, and kitchen steel appliances. So public universities took the coming-of-age part of the multiversity experience and pumped it with money to justify high tuition, even though most economists agree the biggest driver of rising tuition has been decades of declining state support. Public colleges might be $10,000 to $25,000 a year now, but at least you have marble countertops, right? Now let's move on to a crucial aspect of the college system that has been neglected much more than the facilities: the professors themselves.
Is that so?
Beginning in the 1970s, there was a surge.
I think professors above lecturers, right? Most of the lecturers, me see. Every now and then we hear about a professor and anything there.
Of adjunct professors. Adjunct professors are part-time professors, usually on contract work with no permanent role or office, working multiple teaching jobs at once. Before this, the overwhelming majority of college professors were tenured. Tenured professors are indefinitely employed at universities and are typically given multi-year research goals and grants. It provides really strong job security, and you usually can't get fired unless you do something horribly wrong. It also gives them the ability to teach controversial topics without political or institutional pressure.
Which is what you need in a university.
Now, the reason that adjunct professors have been on the rise for so long is multifaceted.
I think in a place like schools and everything there, you're not supposed to have, like, well, unless the teacher them or the person specifically has spread some like type of hate, like negativity thing, Them for just like teach everything, teach history, talk about things, like have discussions with the people. Them. I don't think people supposed to intervene on anything there in a university at least.
And there's an oversupply of prospective faculty members. There are
And
many more potential professors with PhDs and MAs now. Also, non-teaching professional staff has grown rapidly. There are an increasing number of specialists in career services, diversity and inclusion, and student affairs. Additionally, hiring adjuncts over tenured professors allows institutions to adapt to this increasingly volatile college system.
And then them tell you why? Because them hire them people because they can pay them less, right? Part-time, and you're not full-time, you're not locked in, just pay for the class and you do on the time where you do, and that's it. We get to save the rest.
Enrollment rates and also demand for different majors just flip-flops so much now. And with an adjunct professor, you can have this kind of non-committal agreement where you can just kind of slip them into a major for a little while, and you don't have to have this tenured professor who has this huge curriculum that they suddenly have to change. Also, there's just less money going into instruction and more going into financial aid and recreational stuff, like I said, and adjunct professors
to the people that already have it, remember that, to the people that already have it.
Cheaper than tenured professors. Today, roughly 37% of faculty at public colleges and universities are adjunct instructors.
But you know, for real, I stop the video, but you know, for real, is a cycle still. You know, the good things and feed into more good things, because you're, alright, say your parents they got college, you more likely to go to college. And if them college educated, then them probably make a whole heap of money. So them can pay for your college. So them pay for your college, you're not stressed. And for the most part, all the thing you have to focus on your schoolwork and them thing there. Them have your living, them have all them some there. Them focus on. So you, and being them college educated, growing up, you go more than likely have more focus or put more emphasis on succeeding in school. And you know, may I say, just feed into itself. You have to really like jump out of a loop sometime when you come out of poverty.
Nationally, more than 2/3 of all faculty appointments are now contingent rather than tenure track. Why does this matter? Well, firstly, I do want to say that the research on whether adjunct professors are less effective is mixed. But it has been shown in some studies that students taught by adjuncts are less likely to continue in subsequent courses, perform worse in later classes, or less likely to graduate. To me, this makes sense. Your instructor will probably take his role less seriously and place less of an emphasis on caring and mentoring students when he's working multiple jobs at once and he's only going to be there temporarily anyway. I'm not saying that's always the mindset of adjuncts, but I can only imagine that that mindset is more prevalent in a higher percentage of adjuncts than tenured professors. But without a doubt, the biggest disruptor of the college system in the present day has to go to modern technology. Before modern technology, the way one transmitted knowledge was simple and straightforward. Provide the students books, give a lecture, give them a problem set pertaining to that lecture, and give them a written examination. But in the present, administering this system in the context of a college campus without any integrity issues is damn near impossible, rendering it obsolete. For decades, a degree signaled something indisputable. You were competent enough to make it through 4 years of lecturing and following rules, and therefore competent enough to participate in the workforce.
That's like slavery.
Unless you were cheating, but cheating a 4-year degree used to be really hard. But ever since the smartphone's incipience, professors have had to battle with the streamlined convenience economy that is ravaging our ability to focus.
What? I always feel weird when, like, I say professor, like when the lecturer asks a question and the way the person, like, I don't know if me just say this because I'm ignorant and me can believe like, oh, but me go up on Google and me see the something and then the other person read it out exactly like how it stay up on Google and me say, that not come from up here. So, you know, they just kind of feel weird. Like when me hear, like them go on like saying on a Google, them take it off and but we know. All of we go up on phone when him ask the question because we don't know the shit are going in our lecture room right now. And then him just answer it like, me say, brother, me literally up on phone and read out exactly what Google just tell you. And going like say, oh. But our problem me just hear, but it just rubbed me wrong with him a while. Like, me rather hear you go around until you actually like figure out the answer, like I talk it out than for just take something off of Google and say, yeah, this is my own, and then I just read it out and take the praise. Like you never do that. You never know what 2 plus 4 or whatever the question was. Well, you know.
We can't focus. When our attention is increasingly fragmented, paying attention in class is much more difficult. And when something is too difficult, we try to offload it.
That's how me fool myself, like me always say, you know, some can multitask, you know, some can listen to music and do this and do that. Well, in reality, me really can't do it, dog. Me can't listen to music and write the essay or listen to music. And we really think so we can do all of things when I listen to music, and we can't really do it to full to the best. We can't really do it. I mean, we can't really do it. We can't really do it. And we feel like we can do it, but me I tell you, if you stop listening to music and actually like focus on something what you do, you're gonna do it way better than the things say, oh, the music will help you. It not really help you, me I tell you.
More than ever, students can accomplish the offloading of their thinking, focus, and patience thanks to artificial intelligence. A January 2023 survey of 1,000 college students found nearly 90% used the chatbots with homework assignments. 3 years after the launch of ChatGPT and that survey, and we are already beginning to see the disaster.
Actually, last semester me read through textbook and them things. It's not that bad. If you just read through well, it bad because it kind of boring. But if I something you're actually interested in reading textbook, it's not that bad. Me did I read. I feel like if it was a physical book, you'd have better. But me did I read through some textbook, some PDF last semester. It never bad. It never bad. We can read through a couple book and actually learn and do what we do. So me I stray from the ChatGPT thing, especially when it come towards schoolwork. Me read the textbook them, dog. I gotta be different and a cut above the rest, real. Not that to that only purpose, because the book they make with the book the teacher them a teacher from the book them. Like literally when I read like some maths book, me see questions where the teacher them up on their slides. And me I say, wow. Imagine if me that read this before, me I just come in a class and just answer a question them. So read textbook, guys. Read textbooks. That's good for you.
Effects of AI on teaching. In a New York Mag article titled "Everyone is Cheating Their Way Through College," James D. Walsh writes of several anecdotes of this. In one account, a freshman from the University of Ontario first used it in spring semester, then quickly adopted it for every one of their classes. "My grades were amazing," they said. "It changed my life." Walsh wrote, "She continued to use it next semester. Why wouldn't she?" "Why wouldn't she" is the most revealing sentence in this entire article. If jobs care that you got your degree, a piece of paper, more than inspecting your specific college work, what reason is there to learn and apply the knowledge if that takes dozens more hours without ChatGPT? It's a genuine question, and it's one that students now have to grapple with as AI tests their patience. Another story comes from a freshman finance major from one of the country's top universities. Now, this student actually told Walsh she is against AI use. "I'm against copying and pasting. I'm against cheating and plagiarism." All of that. Then she goes on to explain how she used AI to outline a 4 to 5 page essay due in 2 hours. It did all the outlining work for her, and all she had to do was fill it in. This is coming from someone who claims to actually enjoy writing. She states that she understands the importance of learning how to outline better, but she cares about good grades more. An essay with ChatGPT, she says,
you see, and that's what school does. Like, instead of saying, oh, I'm interested in this and more and put in the work, then put deadlines for you, this and that. You have to other things we're not interested in at all. And again, the deadlines. So you say, it worth it. Like when you're, like you're like when you have to study for your exam, and say, it worth it. Me do this, you have to sacrifice part and part of the topics, because you say, this worth it for the grade, or if you just read through everything and just, not if you can't read through everything, because you say, yo, how much marks may I get for them type of question? I saw where I go through the course them. Instead of you say, yo, what the topic? Da 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 da. We can't even have time to say that, because every minute, yo, assignment level 59, you have this to do when you go home, this, that, Zoom call. So the one bag of deadline and timing them, it not lend itself to a what do I say? It not lend itself to a good, like, you're not gonna have a good impression of learning or studying, quote unquote. Because so that we're supposed to study, right? Students study. But school just want to do the exam, do the assignment. I'm not. Sometimes we get good time. Sometimes we just a waste time free. But for the most part, the one bag of deadlines and we have to look on it like how much marks we I get if we do this, how much marks me gonna lose if me not do this. It just messed up.
It just gives you straight up what you have to follow. You just don't really have to think much. In response to this meteoric rise in AI use, professors have been trying and failing to stop it or even incorporate it. Some allow it so long as students cite it, some only allow it for conceptual help, and some require receipts of their dialogue with the chatbot. The problem is that this method is not very foolproof. Some students accidentally cheat on their assignments without even knowing it, or knowing how much, because the policies and guidelines for AI use are, in most cases, pretty nebulous. Professors have also tried more oral exams or AI proofing assignments, but that can't account for all the AI use still taking place outside of the classroom. And for the professors that think AI detection tools are the solution, they are highly misguided. AI detection tools are notoriously garbage. There are loads of stories on the internet of student essays and assignments being tagged as AI by detectors, even though they wrote them, and studies show the detectors trigger more false positives for neurodivergent students and students who speak English as a second language. If you throw the Book of Genesis into one of these detectors, they're most likely going to flag it as AI. Walsh did this on something called Zero GPT, and they found that it was 93% AI. Even the professors, the ones who, are supposed to be trained to teach students, are now letting AI grade papers. There aren't any studies yet to show how many, but one survey of 1,800 higher ed staff found that 30% use it daily or weekly. And now the consequences of this for students entering the job market are disastrous. Like I said at the beginning, employment rates for college grads are now lower than the average worker. Because if AI can conduct many entry-level job roles, or if companies are convinced it can, even though it really can't, many employers will see hiring new college grads as virtually useless, a risk even. They know most students are paying less attention, relying ever more on AI, so at this point, what does a degree even really signal? Can we really say that it signals the same level of competency as it did even just a decade ago? Unfortunately, I don't think so, and I can't even blame the students for using it, because if there is no tangible reward for not using it, and there is no tangible punishment for using it, then why stop using it? I said something in the same vein in a previous video, but I'm not condoning this behavior, I'm just explaining why students would be pushed to have this belief. And when we add everything else we discussed into the mix, it's clear to see why the college system is collapsing. Tuition costs are absurd, universities are investing into recreational and research purposes more than instructors, and what once could only be acquired through a degree can now be acquired in an albeit less cognitively challenging way through AI. It's no wonder why so many young people now see college as a huge risk with little to no upside. It still has the aspects of the multiversity, it has the networking opportunities, it has the fun activities and clubs, it has the research hubs, but the value proposition is no longer a no-brainer, and the system itself is built on increasingly unstable foundations. So if a degree is too expensive and no longer proves that you're ready to work, what does? Well, there's actually a tech company, which is today's sponsor, CourseClear.
Me catch him, yeah man, me catch him. This is the shirt color change. Yeah, that
get started on the right career path, but let's get back to tackling the college problem. With all that being said, what would a next generation university look like, or what should it look like? Well, the author of that Substack article, Niels Gilman, and others like him seem to think the solution lies in a collaborative co-curriculum future. And for the most part, I agree with them. The co-curricular, as Gilman defines it, is the focus on residential life and human connection as the university's irreducible value in the age of AI tutors. In practice, the university would function somewhat like a monastery, where informal discussions produce the greatest breakthroughs in lessons and research. More specifically, that might look like chance hallway encounters with faculty members, late-night bowl sessions in the dormitory common room, and heated dining hall debates. It aligns with what students believe are the—
So they must say, instead of more of the structured, like, the classroom structure, would have more with discussion and them something they like, like every day, every regular spaces, like with the outside, link up with a lecturer and just did the way a chat. you know, more of a group, like not just like not dumb it down, but you know, like bring it down to like chill level, I guess, cause people show up for them things them more if it's just like, yo, we just a chill, we just hang out, but we just happen for talk about calculus and some other thing, you know, just you know, and I guess it would stuck more because it'd be more of a memory.
The most important aspects of the university experience, which are relationships, belonging, and dialogue. Yeah. The Platonic Academy in Athens in ancient Greece is probably the best concrete, complete example of this, where the academy functions as a metaphorical public olive grove, a place for debate, a gymnasium, and a garden. In fact, before all the negative developments for public universities in the 1970s, freshmen cited that one of their most important goals in college was to help them develop a meaningful philosophy of life. And that means we focus less on written assignments and more on live assessments and demonstrations. So basically like oral exams, but done in a way that AI can't. Think of a collaborative student project in which two people argue for or against a certain viewpoint. They bring in their own evidence, they practice critical thinking by changing or strengthening their arguments on the fly, and demonstrate reasoning in real time. Those are valuable skills that transfer to just about every other sector of life, and they would encourage what students want the most from college anyway. Still, that doesn't address the prodigious tuition costs, which definitely need to be tackled. Other than that, you could consider an alternative school like Course Careers. I mean, that teaches you...
I'll jump back in an odd shirt. But I think that I video. Yeah, I think that I video for real. Alright. I said that again, it's the end of the video. Only think. Me think the suggestion where them give, yeah, it could have worked, it could have helped. As me say, textbook reading, it's not that bad. It not that bad at all. Me say things say, Jesus Christ, them big dirty textbook, last time me textbook me did in a primary school. It's like, it not that bad, dog. Just do some reading. It's like sit down, download the textbook, and just read, and if I'm match, you just read and practice, do some work. Like just find some time out of your day. I'm gonna take more advice, so although I already start, me that read the textbook them last semester thing. And it helped. But you know, yeah dog, everything that needs to be in AI. I know it save time on them thing there, but you see if you do the thing them from way before, I know everybody know this are just the execution part where it's like, I really want to do the study into them, I'm tired just like coming from school. But just read, not just read, but to read the textbook them and see where like the teacher them a come from, it make it easier. And the information stuck more than for when like you dip on Google or ChatGPT or anything like that, where you just look for your answer for put in a block or something.